Bark, 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 bark. Sorry, just thought I'd give my rating of this episode in doggy today, since this episode largely revolves around Frisket and Enzo's relationship with him. So those are my thoughts and barks. Thanks for listening. Wait, it just dawned on me that not everyone watching will be well versed in the language of doggo. Well, I guess I'll do an English version, but it's not nearly as compact a language.
Let me go, you tin can! I can't get any work done with you rolling teapots showing up over and over.
Ah, Mr. Pearson, how very nice to see you again. Have you anything interesting for me this time?
I tell you no, like I told you before. I've got nothing, you nosy git. What are you, daft?
Charming, as always. Get me the log, hack.
In the Belly of the Beast was written by Mark Hofmeyer, with story by Mark Hofmeyer and Lane Richard. The main cast for this story includes Michael Benier as Bob, Kathleen Barr as Dot, Jesse Moss as Enzo, Tony J as Megabyte, Phil Hayes as Hack, Gary Chalk as Slash, Michael Donovan as Cecil, and Lon John Baldry as Old Man Pearson. Our story begins at Pearson's data dump, a location referenced in the previous episode, but not seen outside of a single location with a conveyor belt. This is apparently the outdoor section, because it looks much more like a landfill. And we meet the enigmatic Pearson, who lives at and manages the dump. Megabyte's lackeys apparently harass him on a regular basis, looking for random things to add to the viral arsenal. And today, there is apparently an unformat command somewhere in the dump. And Megabyte wants it because... reasons? Anyways, Pearson is tied up and Megabyte's lackeys, Hack and Slash included, start scouring the dump. They find it and make plans to bring it to Megabyte. But a certain guardian has other plans.
Perhaps you'd like a little more room.
Excuse me, it's dark. I cannot see.
Stretch out.
You're close to me.
Hi, trash diggers.
Who's that?
I know garbage like you belongs in the dump, but why don't you quit bugging old man Pearson?
Bob? It's Bob.
Sounds like him. Get him!
Uh-oh. Time to jam.
The single carrier at the dump gives chase, but Bob leads it straight into one of those mechanical crushers, and it gets demolished. While all that is happening, Hack and Slash attempt an escape from the pincer machine, and notice a certain dog roaming around where he shouldn't.
You're always touching me. I told you not to touch me there.
Nice puppy.
Hey, nice doggy. Hey, don't touch that!
Yeah, that little cylinder, that's the command. And it now dwells in Frisket's stomach. Oops. Bob rescues Pearson, who just tells him to hurry up and get him down in the comical old man voice, and is none the wiser as to what has happened to Frisket. We head back to the tour, and see that Megabyte is none too pleased.
Not only did you let Bob make fools of us all, but do I understand correctly that you let a dog eat my unformat command?
Sorry, boss.
We'll get the dog now.
Yes, we will.
Right
Oh,
away.
boy.
No, my way is so much easier.
Which way?
Is that?
Enzo. Get me the boy.
Before we can see what this plan entails, we cut back to the diner as Bob enters triumphantly. Cecil tells him he smells, and then Frisket wanders in, green in the face, and the torso, and the limbs. It is clear-cut obvious that he is sick. Frisket never comes into the diner. I have observed when animals are hurt or sick, they will often retreat into a more enclosed space, so I assume that's what's being mimicked here. Anyways, Bob has glitch diagnosed the problem.
Maybe it's something he ate.
Really? What was your first clue, Doctor? Glitch. Viewer scope. He swallowed an old sector blanking command. He's trying to unformat his stomach. Glitch. Medgun. A little puppy peptic. That's the best I can do.
Like many real-life diagnoses, Bob says Frisket's just going to have to weather this out. Cecil insists the dog leave, and Dot gets Frisket to go seek out Enzo. The canine complies, and we see Frisket intercept Enzo on the way home from school. Oh, so apparently there are schools even inside a computer. Okay. Anyways, it doesn't take too long for the Megabyte's goons to show up and kidnap Enzo in front of Frisket. In his weakened state, Frisket loses to the carrier, and Enzo is taken away. As I assume Megabyte had predicted, Frisket follows him to the tour, and is then promptly captured in some sort of container. And from here on out, the episode moves firmly into the adventures of Enzo and Frisket. And there's nothing particularly wrong with that. Enzo is interesting as far as a little kid goes, but I don't personally feel like he has the stage presence to hold the episode up by himself. And obviously Frisket is not really a character so much as a force of nature. They do this half-decent reference to Jurassic Park here as they put Frisket in a cage, and then prepare to open him up.
No! No!
The boy doesn't need to see this. He served his purpose. Dump him at the city limits.
Can't I at least say goodbye?
Well, no.
Stop! You can't!
I'm sure you'll find something else to play with.
Yeah, maybe I will.
And now, a little more than halfway through the runtime, the tale devolves into a Scooby-Doo episode. It just gets way too silly. Oh well, you'll see my points in a second. I just want to pause for a moment, because this is the first time ReBoot has legitimately disappointed me. Anyways, Enzo uses his yo-yos to distract Hack and Slash, and also hit all the switches on the control pad, which turns off the containment field. Frisket escapes, grabs Enzo, and the two head down on a cargo elevator. Apparently, the extremely organized, militaristic virus with a huge base has no sorts of security measures in place for intruders, because Frisket and Enzo are just able to wander around wherever they wish. Also, remember Megabyte's innumerable forces? Like the ones he had in the first episode? Where are they? I guess this was their day off, because Megabyte only scrounges up Hack, Slash, and like 5 binomes to give chase.
Gee, Frisket, these wires look important. It sure would be awful if something were to happen to them, huh?
Where did they go? They're at the power controls. Activate emergency lighting. Go that way. I'll slip around behind them.
Several close calls ensue, where Megabyte's lackeys almost catch them, and Frisket tosses them around with his supernatural strength that seems to give even Megabyte pause. You'll see what I mean later. The duo will eventually make it to an armory/storage bay, and have some firearms fun against the lackeys, in what I consider the funniest scene in the episode.
You guys are toast.
We're not running away now, are we?
It was a blink and you'll miss it joke, but no doubt you noticed the BS&P approved on the side of the life raft. The series makes many jokes poking at the censors, and it's always funny. Anyways, once you come around the corner but one of those armoured carriers, Enzo and Frisket have hijacked one. Okay, fine. Enzo clumsily flies the ship through the extremely conveniently excised hallways, with Megabyte giving chase, which I admit is pretty impressive. They pile drive through Hack and Slash, of course, but Megabyte uses his awesome might to stop the craft in its tracks. Enzo and Frisket jump out at the last moment.
I want my command, Kerr.
Megabyte pauses here, seemingly reluctant to attack the dog, and tells Hack and Slash to do it instead. Frisket promptly dismantles them. Yawn. Eventually, Frisket and Enzo make it out onto the exterior of the tower and make their escape, but not before Frisket poops out the command, where it can be conveniently stepped on by Megabyte. I'm serious.
We should
follow him,
Yeah,
yeah.
and we'll
we should
get that,
get that command, yeah.
And we will fail.
We will not fail him.
Right.
Never mind. I think I've already found it.
Starting to worry about Enzo's whereabouts, Bob and Dart start heading out and pass Enzo and Frisket returning in triumph. And that's that. I bear no particular hatred or malice towards this episode, and nevertheless, I must label it as the first bad one the series has had. And all of the tales thus far, with perhaps one exception, have had more cartoony moments or happy slappy coincidences, and that's fine. But this episode commits a crime I cannot overlook. Villain decay. Megabyte and his whole operation come off as incompetent and pathetic. Sure, Bob outsmarts him and gets away with it by the seat of his pants, but here, a boy and his dog just wandered through the main base completely consequence-free. It was a bad mistake, one they thankfully will never repeat again. Megabyte is absent in the next 3 episodes after this, and I like to think it's because he was too embarrassed to show up for a while. Understand that. The moment you make your main villain look like a fool, tension is immediately sucked out of the story. After that, there's no doubt in the audience's mind that the protagonist will get away scot-free. I think any savvy audience member will be well aware that the good guys aren't going to lose, at least for now, but there has to be tension as to how they'll succeed, and a supernatural dog is not the answer. It's got some laughs, a few clever scenes, and the dialogue is still sharp and perfectly delivered. But overall, it's a a 1 out of 3 from me.